I'll just do what it does, I guess, you know. These these are the days of passage, under the sign of the promise given. Now is the time to call to mind the terms of the bargain driven between the earth and blood from man and the starlight tribes of heaven. For within the ancient belly of our ancestral skies, a new constellation has arisen. A confluence of quintessence is beginning to align, an internal conjunction of universal rhyme, where each gives to each the other as if by stellar design. For our journeys and our destinies have become intertwined with the hopes and dreams of people, which both mark and measure the message and the refinement of humankind. Beyond the glow of twilight, on some far-off distant world, among the clans of midnight, our countrymen's flags unfurled. As if from out of nowhere, on a moment's notice will come, riding the crest of another day, and into the valley of doing undone. Beneath the veil of your lifelong dream, below the flow of this conscious stream, wrapped in feelings for the unseen, the broken ones wait for the time being. When in the vicinity of infinity, watching heaven's stars fall, while throughout the certainty of eternity, most any heartbeat can recall, an equation of creation that if brought to full resolve, brings about a balance to the blood that's in us all. This air that moves the clouds about the sky, that fills our lungs with breath when as babies we first cry. This air that moves will in time decide if our earthly presence can survive gravity's touch at evening's tide. And yet in the sparkle that comes from our eyes, there is a fire that lights up the lives of those we've left unborn, until from the fabric of our kinship ties, just one more child is torn. My ancient ancestors arrived one day, taking my heart in their hands. They turned away, leaving an opening in my chest where the sky comes to play. Out on the rim of the world they gathered, moving like clouds reflected in the water. On command from the wind they scattered, until in the numbing pain I could find what it is that they were after. To touch this earth is all that really matters. To touch this earth with simplicity is to turn that touching to a litany. For in each of us there sleeps the memory of what it is to simply be. And in that being there awakes the certainty of the necessity of preserving ancestral dignity. For with the beginnings of antiquity, we became the keepers of a legacy that is in itself a seed, needing only to believe in the dispersal of impersonal gravity and the emergence of a fifth season composed in its entirety of all illuminating integrity. Moving from body to body, the soul of simplicity is forever free, at rest and unexpressed, in legion with the dawn, a procession of sensation whose cadence depends upon an assertive reflective position in revolution around the sun. An odyssey of exploration that goes on, a journey into folklore that's never done. Like a fold in a baby's blanket, or the first note in a young child's song, it's a harvest of tomorrows that's been here all along. Now the day of the clouds has passed, shall not come again. Seldom does the fool in us turn quickly enough to see what it is that the wise one just never does. For in this world, only shadows may walk in balance, turning no stones in their search for eloquence, gracefully following sunlight's request, moving in harmony while still at rest. Ever since the time of angels, where darkness fell so quickly, relics of the past remain to guide us on our journeys through a once famous but now forgotten land, born of emerging embryonic emotion that can twist and turn but just will not stand unless delivered by the prospect of the notion that here there is more between heaven and earth than meets the eyes and arms of man, more to arriving in the afterlife than simply leaving behind these feelings which lie so close at hand. So listen to the stirrings in your heart. Mark now this moment as the start of the day in whose evening we must depart to safe harbors of our incomplete understanding. for we all have inner sails that rise on celestial winds that come disguised as a breath of air in the still of night, where we wait to leave like the fading light, though we know not the course we're steering. Thoughts our senses bring to mind shall leave these shrunken worlds behind, for among the teachings of all mankind, there is only one lesson that never ends in time. In the days which lie ahead, no one knows what it is that should be said. It's only through seeking this earth spirit's release that our fragile dreams will ever come to rest in peace. After traveling so recklessly in the early morning light, there comes a time of reckoning just before wrong turns to right, where between the in-breath and out-breath of each mortal moment of this heavenly life, there waits unmoving the edge, the blade of the ceremonial knife, ready and willing to sacrifice the known for the knowing at any price. Shoulder to shoulder the phantoms stand, wave upon wave, eroding the summer shores of this autumn land, where nation after nation of winter people arrive on command, emerging with nothing more than the sign of passage in the palm of their hand, while asking for their place at the table, that the feasting might begin with the taste and the telling of stories by the tongue of the wind, as gifts of memory are given again and again, in keeping with a doctrine whose very existence depends on the interrelated aspects of a trans-dimensional clan, whose increase is timed to coincide with this world's eventful end, as the first stages of the age of stardust overtake the last days of the season of man. Nested deep inside the heart of each of us, there is a feeling we must come to trust. For if we are to spread our wings and fly, first we must give up all concept of what it is to die. Like caterpillars growing from within a cocoon, we must face each day, working to be awakened soon. For not much longer can our feet survive this earthbound pace to which they're tied, before they feel the need to climb, to transform, and then to ride beneath silken wings that glide on effervescent currents and visionary tides that give good cause for the children of the froth to rise, to greet again with open eyes the graceful return of the titans of the skies. Now some doubt it, so I've heard, but with no outward sign we must give our word, and hope that the sound of promise travels with our voice far enough to touch those who, like us, have no choice but to follow their own thoughts back to where it is that we come from, to reach inside and grab hold of the inner one who might otherwise never overcome this tangle of roots that lie at the base of the tongue, to speak in a language shared by everyone, in words composed of syllables built with fire and blood, each a flaming symbol taken straight from the heartland of our native sun, where every life is a glowing ember waiting for the wind and the word to begin to become a child ablaze and burning again in a world that is forever fueled with the rhythms and incantations found dwelling deep within the boundaries of this kingdom of sight and sound.